While the Trump administration is working to end the war in Ukraine, Trump just called Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator without elections. And then he ripped into the $350 billion the U.S. has wasted on Ukraine's war. And then Zelensky got locked out of the U.S.-Russia peace talk. Is Zelensky's grip on power slipping, or is it that the Ukrainian president has nothing to blackmail Trump the way he did Biden? And is this Trump setting the stage for a deal Biden never even attempted? Stick around, because this changes everything. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So let's talk about the latest drama going on in Ukraine. Trump just took a verbal sledgehammer to Volodymyr Zelensky, calling him a dictator without elections. And guess what? He didn't stop there. He laid out exactly why the U.S. is wasting hundreds of billions of dollars on a war that could have been avoided if not for Biden and the corrupt Ukrainian government. Here's what Trump posted on Truth Social. Think of it. A modestly successful comedian, Volodymyr Zelensky, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into a war that couldn't be won, that never had to start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed, while the United States will get nothing back. Why didn't sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization, in that this war is far more important to Europe than it is to us? We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation. He's exactly right, guys. We had no national strategic interest in this war. On top of this, Zelensky admits that half of the money we sent him is missing. He refuses to have elections, is very low in Ukrainian polls, and the only thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections, Zelensky better move fast or he is not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something all admit only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelensky probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine, but Zelensky has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died, and so it continues. Ukraine then got completely left out of the secret U.S.-Russia negotiations to end the war. Now, Zelensky apparently is fuming. He even canceled his trip to Saudi Arabia in protest. He's like, I'm not going, so there. It's like showing up to a party and realizing you were not invited and then pretending you never wanted to go in the first place. Trump's post on Truth Social was pure fire. He reminded everyone that before he was a wartime leader, Zelensky was a modestly successful comedian. Now think about that. A stand-up comic convinced the U.S. to shell out $350 billion for a war that's looking more and more like a lost cause. I think if Doge got involved in looking at the money that went to Ukraine, I think they're going to find out that a boatload of it, maybe those millions that are missing, that they came back to Democratic campaign coffers. Meanwhile, Europe, who actually has a dog in this fight, has spent $200 billion less than America. Now, how does that make any sense? Here's why Trump has the right to be hard on Zelensky for being a dictator. Zelensky didn't just cancel elections, guys. He dissolved opposition political parties. He shut down news networks that were not favorable to him and consolidated the other news networks to make it easier for the government to control them. Zelensky banned a Russia-linked church, Ukraine's largest church. It would be the equivalent of the U.S. banning Ukrainian Orthodox churches all across America. And then there was Trump's first fake impeachment. The Democrats impeached Trump for things he did not say during a phone call with the Ukrainian president. They said Trump threatened to withhold aid money to Ukraine unless Zelensky agreed to give him dirt on the Biden crime family operating in Ukraine. Never happened. The transcript of the phone call was released, and none of what the Democrats impeached Trump over were found on the transcripts. Now, here's the rub. Zelensky knew that Trump never said any of the things the Democrats accused him of saying. He knew that Joe Biden grifted off the corruption in Ukraine under his predecessor, President Petro Poroshenko. Zelensky knew that Trump did not threaten to withhold any money from him. He knew that the entire impeachment was a political hit job of lawfare against the American president. And yet, he never officially uttered a word. to have the Ukrainian president come out and claim that the impeachment articles were bogus because nothing of the sort happened would have gone a long way to save the American people a constitutional crisis created by the Democrats and a heck of a lot of taxpayer dollars to push through a phony impeachment against President Trump. So you'll have to forgive him if Trump doesn't trust the dictator of Ukraine. Remember, everything that Trump does from the beginning of a discussion is a negotiation. Now, I would bet dollars to donuts that Trump referring to Zelensky as a dictator is a move where he is trying to get Zelensky to come to the table of ending the war with guarantees he will treat his people as if he lives in a democratic country. So forgive Trump if he doesn't exactly trust the guy. And don't be shocked if this is all part of Trump's long game to push Zelensky into actual peace talks. Because let's be honest, Biden never even tried to end the war. He just kept writing blank checks, knowing exactly where some of that money was going. Meanwhile, the real power players, the U.S. and Russia, just held secret negotiations in Saudi Arabia. And guess what? Zelensky wasn't invited, and that's like playing chess and realizing you're just a pawn. Even the Turkish president is saying Trump's plan is worth considering. And speaking of that U.S.-Russia meeting, it actually went well. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov came out saying, we weren't just listening to each other, we actually heard each other, which is diplomatic code for something big is in the works. At the end of the day, Trump is right. Ukraine is a disaster. Zelensky's country is shattered. Millions are dead. And yet he refuses to hold elections, negotiate peace, and stop cashing Biden's checks. So the real question is, will Zelensky finally face reality, or will he drag Ukraine even further into the abyss? Now, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hit that notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with the latest on this mess. I'll see you in the next one. Spread the word.
When I tell you, know you, throw a tantrum.